And welcome back to The Factor Uncensored. A man you see there is accused of beheading a Dallas motel manager in front of the victim's family with a machete. Loved ones have released a photo of the victim, 51-year-old or 50-year-old Chandra Nagamalia. The suspect, 37-year-old Yordanis Cobos Martinez, is charged with capital murder. Our next guest has more details about the attack and how he was also arrested several times in Houston and California. And joining us now here on The Factor Uncensored, we have Greg Dupree out of the Dallas area, former law enforcement officer and security expert. Greg, this is mind-blowing. This is some of the stuff that you hear that may come out of the Middle East where there is a beheading, and now 37-year-old Yordanis Martinez is behind bars, accused of beheading a co-worker at a motel in the Dallas area. Tell us what happened there.
Basically, and you're right, Isaiah, this was a very gruesome crime. This individual was working as a maintenance or a cleaning worker at the motel, and evidently the owner or slash manager came up to him and they were having a discussion that evolved into or deteriorated into an argument. And at that time, Dennis produced a machete, which I don't know how he got, was able to continuously carry a machete around his workplace. But then he began hacking the victim no less than 50 times. And,
wow.
The victim initially tried to get away and he ran towards the office, I guess, to lock himself in there. But right when he got to the door, he slipped and fell. And that's when the suspect jumped on top of him and began hacking him, as I said, no less than 50 times. And as he continued to hack him, he moved from just hacking his body to hacking him on the neck and throat area, where he eventually beheaded him. Or decapitated him. But to make matters worse, once he had decapitated him, he got up and he started kicking the head around the parking lot like a soccer ball.
Clearly some mental issues going on there. Very disturbing. It's our understanding he shouldn't have even been in the country at this point. No. And I did some digging, Greg, and found out that he even was here in Houston in 2000, going back as far as 2018, where he had two criminal charges here, assault with a bodily injury. That was completed in court. We don't know the final disposition, but it was. And indecency with a child in 2018. That case was dismissed. We don't know exactly what happened there. And there was a more recent case where he was here in the Houston area as well. Sounds like a damn ticking time bomb waiting to explode.
Exactly. And, for someone to be this brutal and savage, I guarantee you this is not the first time he's done something like this. And to add on to his criminal history, I believe, Isaiah, he was also arrested for carjacking a woman in California.
Absolutely. I heard an interview with that woman, and she said as if he had no moral compass whatsoever.
Exactly. And the thing is, they tried to deport this guy before because he's originally from Cuba. And they tried to deport him back to Cuba, and Cuba refused to accept him. So
now that's a sign.
That's a sign. And then our courts just released the guy, pending trial on it, I guess, in his own personal recognizance. And you let somebody who has this violent of a nature roam around free. If that's not bad enough, he was able to secure employment at this motel, and unfortunately, it resulted in this man's death.
Now, that's the kind of person that President Trump said he wanted to go after. And so we'll see if, and President Trump is making comments, getting very involved in this case, and we'll see what happens. But there are now many agreements out there with other countries that will take defendants or those who are in this country illegally if their home country, their native country, won't accept them. So maybe President Trump and the federal government can get an agreement with another. But of course, you have to be adjudicated now. You can't just deport someone after they hacked off a head, beheaded someone in America, and just send them on their way. He has to face justice here, and the charge is capital punishment. So it may be a death penalty, and there may be no deporting at all.
Well, with a person this savage, that would probably be the most preferable outcome. Because you got to think about it. What country would want him to come in there? And if you're not going to incarcerate him in the country that you're deporting him to, you run the risk of him causing more problems in that country, and what's worse, coming back here. So if you're not going to incarcerate, forget about deporting him. This, as you said, this guy needs to be adjudicated permanently. You know, there should be some form of punishment for this guy where he is permanently removed from society, and he cannot perpetrate a crime like this ever again.
Incredible. Once again, his name is Jordanis Martinez, 37 years old, arrested in the Dallas area, but he has a criminal history here in the city of Houston as well, also in California for carjacking a woman there. So we will see what happens. I'm sure he won't slip through the cracks again.